think we're good to go. So, yeah, we have an exciting topic for you tonight. Um, we are going to be talking about 5 tips to help you stay consistent in your business. I'm Amy Starr Allen. This is the Power Hour, where we do live trainings every Wednesday night. And I am joined tonight by my friend Jim Hall, who I like to call the king of consistency. Because he has had some remarkable results in his business just by doing some simple things consistently every day. So he's going to share um, what he does with you, and I think you're going to be kind of blown away at how simple this can be. Consistency is not, sexy. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. As far as being an entrepreneur, there's other things about being an entrepreneur that are a lot more sexy and exciting than the consistency aspect of it. But consistency is one of the most important things that will give you the biggest results in your business. And without it, it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's a lot less likely that you'll succeed. Um, because it's definitely a lot harder to build trust with your audience if you just show up when you feel like it, right? Um, so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, consistency. And I am really excited. When Jim jumped on, I didn't even know he was on because I was on another page typing something, and I had my music playing because I was doing my happy dance, because I just hit one of my goals just now, like 10 minutes before we went live. I set a short-term goal for myself a few months ago to get up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That was my first goal. I set some other, goals, longer term goals as well. But my first goal was get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And all I've been doing is being consistent. And, we'll get more into that as we go through this training tonight. But that's all I've been doing. Like, I haven't been doing anything fancy on YouTube other than being consistent. And so when I sent out my email this morning, I was at 993, I think, subscribers. And I was like, I know without a doubt that I'm going to hit my goal today, which is a key point to get rid of self-doubt. Any doubt, you have to know that you're going to hit your goals. Anyway, I knew I was going to hit my goal today. And anyway, I hit it like 10 minutes before. I was at 999 when I sent out the reminder email for tonight. And I put a PS in there saying, I'm at 999. Who's going to push me over the edge? And I refreshed my screen and I was at 1,000. I was like, woo! So fun. So, and that's also one of the keys that we're going to talk about tonight too, is celebrating your successes, because that's part of it too. So that's our exciting topic for tonight. And we're going to go through these five steps. At any point in time, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, and we'll be sure and get those answered. And before we dive into the 5 steps, I just want to check in with Jim. How you doing tonight, Jim?
I'm doing so good, Amy. I'm so glad to be here tonight. And as we were talking about before we started a little bit, really surprised me today to get this message of, hey, will you come on and talk about consistency? Because consistency is probably the thing that has held me back the most in 20 years of doing business online. I've done this for a long, long time. I've had some really great results as long as Christy was kind of pushing the ball for us. Christy is really good at results, and so about must have been about 2 years ago, I read a really neat book that I've almost destroyed now, called The Compound Effect. And at the end of The Compound Effect, it says to give these to 5 people. So I gave it to 5 people, and all 5 of the people that read it quit their job and got way better jobs by applying the principles of consistency that's in this book. So I do give a lot of this topic credit to this book, and I recommend it to everybody. It's a really easy read, and reading is a dollar value. What do you call that? I never can remember that term. Um, it is a daily action that is dollar making. I don't know why I'm losing that thought, but anyways,
Revenue
and
generating activity.
revenue generating activity. Thank you, Amy.
And
And
leaders are readers.
readers are readers, and I read all the time. I read at least probably 2 hours every single day. So that's part of my consistency is I read every single day. If I don't, I really, really miss it. It's something that it is it's a habit. It's a structure of my life, and I think that it's required. It helps with all kinds of things inside of your life. I want to rewind a little bit to about 10 years ago. We moved to this little town, and we moved here with Christy's sisters. And Christy said, I see my sisters, and I see that they've got a lot of community appeal, and a lot of people really like them. But I noticed that they're really wishy washy. They're really like, they'll be there for somebody and then they won't be there for somebody. And so about that same time, I said, I'll tell you, from everything I've seen, what they're really lacking is consistency. And this was a long time ago, and I was not established on this concept, but I told her, I said, this is the one thing you should do that's different than your sisters is be dependable. That every chance you get, be there when you say you're going to be there. It doesn't mean you have to be there. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. But if you say you're going to be there, then be there. And that one bit of consistency has definitely shaped and formed the person that she's become in this community. She's run some great stuff. She's gotten some great promotions at work. She has a ton of amazing friends and contacts that are in the school board, that are in every bit of her life here in this small little town. So being dependable and being consistent on that. And like I say, you can say no. And that's something I want to point out a little bit too as we go through this. I know Amy's stance on don't do what you don't want to do. If you don't want to call people, don't call people, right? I know Amy has a big stance on that. There's certain things that we're going to do and there's certain things we're not going to do. So why fight it? Just be consistent on what you can be consistent on. And I don't want to go too far because I don't know what Amy really has planned for us tonight, but I wanted to get a little bit of background out there about how things have changed for me. And really, in the last 10 months, things have completely flip flopped. I've decided to be dependable and consistent, and things have really made a change in my life. So back to you, Amy.
Yeah, it's amazing what can happen just by that one decision. And it's a decision that we can all make. It's a tweak that we can all make. And the minute that you do, when you really commit to being consistent, and like I said, we're going to go through some tips tonight to help you get a better understanding about what that looks like for you, because it's different for everybody. But that one little commitment to yourself to show up consistently in your business is the key that will make the biggest difference for you. So let's jump into our 5 nuggets. So the first one is to create specific and realistic goals. It's hard to be consistent if you don't know what you need to do, right? And so it's good to create goals that have like a specific measurable result, like your short-term goals. So for example, I set this goal with my YouTube channel, right? And it's not like this astronomical thing. And it's, to some people might not seem like anything, but for me, it was like, I could see the finish line. I knew what I needed to do to get there. And it's a very specific, measurable result. Like I hit the goal today and I knew I hit the goal, and I turned on some music and I got all excited, and I'm going to celebrate. We're going to talk about that later, but you can't do that if you don't have a specific goal in mind. Like you're like, I just want to be successful and I'm just going to be consistent. Like that's not going to work. You need to know what your goal is so that you know what you need to do consistently to hit your goal, right? So once you know what your goal is, you can set smaller steps like you can
You've
chunk it
you've
down.
frozen up on me again. Hopefully it's just on me. And
Okay,
well, in a
you're
minute you'll
frozen
probably
from
start
me.
zooming through again.
So weird. You're frozen on my end and I'm frozen on your end. Tell me when you can hear me again. Can you hear me, Jim? You're frozen for me. Can you guys let us know in the comments who's frozen for you? Because I don't know if I'm frozen or if Jim's frozen. I'm going to come over here and check the page. Okay, so Robin says she hears me. While I'm waiting for Jim, I'm just reading through your comments. Jeff says, congrats again, Amy. That's absolutely crazy. Lots of hard work went into that. Hi, Jim. The dynamic duo. The power hour always feels like someone is letting me into a gold mine and I'm free to grab chunks of gold as I hear them. Love hearing revenue generating activity. Always prioritize goes to RGAs. Okay. So does anyone else, can you guys hear me? Okay. So Jim is the one that's frozen. Okay. Hopefully, Jim, I know for you, you can't hear me, but maybe you can see in the comments that you're frozen. So I will continue on and see if, oh, Jim has jumped off. So hopefully he's going to jump back on. Let me just make sure I don't have any messages from him or anything. He was blaming it on my new computer. I don't think it's my computer. I think it's Jim's on his phone tonight. So guessing it has something to do with that. Okay. He has not messaged me. So I don't know. He must be having some technical difficulties on his end. So let's see. I was talking about, once you identify your goal, you can come up with smaller steps to reach your goal. So my end goal wasn't 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have much bigger goals than that. But the 1,000 was like my first step, right? Chunking down my bigger goal into smaller steps. Oh, I think Jim's coming back. There he is. So, yeah, so it wasn't me, it was you.
It was me.
Blaming it on my new computer.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I just got back on track here talking about chunking down the bigger goals and being specific. So instead of saying like I'm going to consistently post on YouTube, what I decided was I'm going to stream live on YouTube every Wednesday at 9 p.m. consistently. And since I decided to do that, that's what I've been doing. And then I have other steps that I've taken from that. Like I don't just, like this live stream is streaming on YouTube, but it's not even listed on my channel, right? It's unlisted video. So I have other steps that I do after this. Like I have steps that I do every week. Like I repurpose this video. I download it, I edit it, I upload it, I create a thumbnail for it, I publish it, I find the key, the keyword, do the keyword research and the search engine optimization, like all this different stuff, right? I don't just, there's all these different steps, but those are all like, I know what I have to do every single week, right? It's very, very clear to me what I need to do every single week. And, we're going to go more into the schedule aspect of it, and that's actually the next thing we're going to talk about. But the first step is just to create specific and realistic goals. So, Jim, you want to say anything about the specific and realistic?
Yeah. And then like on your goal to get 1,000 members, or 1,000 subscribers, whatever that goal was. I mean, mine was pretty similar for 1,000 members into 30-minute workday. And I just reached that goal on Saturday. And like you said, you knew you were only 7 away, and you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get every day from what you normally do every day. So that's a big part of it, is chunk it down to where you know that if you need 1,000, you could be pretty specific after a little while about how many days that's going to take. I mean, you know that you'll get 7 or 8 or 10 or whatever that number is, and you can do things towards that action to actually get there. Like I posted on Friday, I believe it was, that I was right around the same point. I was at like 992 or something, and I was like, all right, I'm going to hit 1,000 today, because I knew, I mean, from the actions that I do every single day, I knew that I would break that 1,000 mark. Now I've reset a new goal of 5,000. So now I have to start calculating out how far and how much I need to do. And do I need to do something bigger more consistently in order to get there? And the same thing with sales. My overall goal is 2 sales a day. So I have to keep edging up until I'm making enough leads to get to 2 sales a day. And once I get to that point, I mean, all of that stuff is targeted. I know that I can bring in this many leads a day. I can't really determine how many sales I can make, but I can figure out how many leads a day it takes to get to that many sales. So those are those specific targets that you can do. And then you just do all of your actions every single day. And like Amy said too, make sure those actions are small enough. Maybe, you know, if you don't like to write, but you have to write, if you don't want to write an email, find some kind of way to start your email. Maybe you get a book. There's a book, I don't actually have a copy of it, but there's a book about 365 daily self-talks that it's a daily read, and it's like 2 sentences. So you can take that quote and start your emails with it. And then once you're started into it, now your email just flows out for you, because you've started onto that cycle. And eventually you start that habit, and then, you just come back to it every single day. And you will start to miss those things if you don't do it with regularity after a while. I think that's all I got. I hope that made.
What I've noticed too, as far as knowing, like couple months ago, I wouldn't know without a shadow of a doubt that I was going to get those 7+ subscribers in a day. But what I've been seeing is I've been getting momentum. Like the longer that you're consistent, it's the snowball effect starts to happen, where stuff starts to grow faster than it did when you were first becoming consistent. And I know, and just to clarify, Jim's talking about the 30-minute workday. That's, probably going to come up tonight, because the 30-minute workday is 3 consistent steps that you do every day. And we'll get more into that later. But just in case you hear it mentioned and you don't know what it is, the 30-minute workday is a system that Jim uses, and I also use, to generate leads and sales. It's an affiliate marketing system that anybody can use with any business. And it's kind of a bonus that we get as a member of the Home Business Academy, because the funnels that are built inside of the 30-minute workday are built with the HBA funnel builder that we love and use and are affiliates for. So the button below this video is for the HBA funnel builder. And if you hear us talking about the Home Business Academy or the 30-minute workday, they are partnered together. And if you are looking for a really good funnel builder, page builder tool to use in your business, all businesses need one. You might have one already, but ours is amazing, and it's much more cost effective than anything else I've seen out there. And it does a lot more. If you want to learn more about it, wait till we're done with our training and then click the button below this video. And whoever sent you to this page tonight will get the credit for that sale. But just know that if you decide to join and purchase the HBA funnel builder, the 30-minute workday is a free system that you can use in conjunction as a bonus. So when you hear Jim talking about the 3 steps in the 30-minute workday or anything, any of that kind of stuff comes up, just know that that's available to you as well if that's something that you're interested in. So I just wanted to, I forgot to say that earlier, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. But Jim, have you noticed that the snowball effect
Oh
kind of?
yeah, for sure. And I think that comes back to dependability, right? If we're jumping from program to program to program to program to program, not only did nobody know what we're doing, but we don't even know what we're doing after a little while, you know? So after settling into something, people can start to trust that you're going to be there for a while. So, I mean, even like my Facebook group, people are sharing it more and more and more because it's been around now for a while, you
Mhm.
know?
Well,
So,
there's more people in there to share.
right.
That's it's like with YouTube subscribers, same thing. Like the more subscribers you have, the more subscribers you get because
Right.
people, you know what I mean? It gets just seen, it gets seen by their people. And
And it definitely starts off slow. And as long as you're doing the actions that are that have been known to work, you just have to keep doing them, and you'll find that snowball effect like you're talking about, Amy.
mhm. I have a quote here by Mother Teresa that I just love, and it's like one of my mantras. Be faithful in small things because it is in them that your strength lies. I think a lot of times people, you know, again, going back to the sexiness aspect, like the small goals aren't super sexy, and a lot of people overlook um, what you can do by just taking small steps and chunking things down into smaller goals. And, you know, that's where your strength lies. That's where your success lies. And so just something to keep in mind, and don't feel like, I mean, a lot of times if we set a goal that seem, you know, and again, we're talking about this, be specific and create specific and realistic. If you set a goal that feels really unrealistic to you, the chances that you're going to actually like be motivated to take the steps every day, or to not have doubt getting in your way of taking the steps every day, um, it's just a lot more likely if your goal doesn't feel realistic to you. So it's the small, you know, don't overlook the small short-term goals and the sometimes what feels like monotonous steps that you have to take consistently to get to where you want to go, because that's the key. All right. So then the second thing is, and I know Jim has one of these, and I'm going to make fun of him for it in a second, but um, create a schedule for yourself. So you know, this is going to look different for everybody, and there's different tools that you can use. You know, some people like a calendar, some people like a planner, some people want to use a Google calendar. I use Trello for everything. I have Trello boards and Trello cards, and I move stuff around, and I like, that's how I organize my content ideas and my schedule and all of that. And that's like a whole other training, you know, but we all have different ways that our brain works that helps to keep us organized with our schedule. So it could be, you know, whatever works for you. But the key is to really to block off realistic amounts of time for each task. Like put your tasks that you need to do consistently on your schedule, and make sure you block off enough time. If you're not sure how long it's going to take, then give yourself like extra time. It's better to like give yourself more time than you need than to not have enough time. And then um I'm just looking at my notes here.
When I'm not near the planner that a lot of people are, Christy's a big planner, so Trello didn't work for me. I tried to use Trello, but there's too much involved to map out what I wanted to do. So I just use a piece of paper, and you save enough space. My to do list, and I know that's what you want to pick on me about, is my to do list, um, is really wide open. Like that way, if there's a day that I'm really motivated, I can really get through my list in about half the time, as what I have charted out. But it also leaves me time to get with my team if they want to work on something, and maybe they'll message and say, hey, you have 10 minutes, we can hop on and work on this or something. Then I can squeeze that in. But if I work hard and get my stuff done, I can watch TV for the rest of the day if I want. So that to me is for me, like you said, their brains work differently on their scheduling. So I can't get very tight on my schedule. It doesn't work well for me, and I end up putting it off. So if I have that looseness where I can, like you said, come on early so we can talk about the call, I like to be sporadic even to that point. I don't like to have anything set up, designed too far out, because I don't know, it doesn't work well for me that way. So
yeah, we're all different as far as how organized or committed we want to be. One thing that I think is really important, regardless of how rigid you want to be with your schedule, is make sure you schedule time for you, like self-care, meditation, walks on the beach, whatever it is that feeds your soul. Like, that's an appointment that you have with yourself. I think this is, I mean, not everybody's going to do this. I know that, but I think, like, I have a morning routine, and nobody is going to get any of my time during the things that I do in the morning. So I don't schedule stuff. If somebody says, can you come to the dentist at this time? No, I can't. I have an appointment. My appointment is with myself. And because I have a morning routine that I follow religiously every morning, and it sets my day off in a good, my meditation, my exercise, like the things that I do, like nothing gets in the way of that. So I schedule that. So when somebody wants to meet me for coffee at a time that's like during my morning routine, no, I'm not available. Sorry. When, like I said, the dentist wants me to come in at that time, no, I'm not available at that time. Like, that's my time. And it doesn't have to be in the morning. I just think it's important that, like, if you are keeping a daily schedule, to schedule in some time for your, like, breaks from the routine and whatever, in the work stuff, to do the things that, to play the guitar or play with your dog or do whatever it is that you do that feels really good. Because what happens is, if you schedule time for that in your day, you won't feel guilty when you're taking that time for yourself. Whereas if you don't schedule it in, as an entrepreneur, what I've found is, if I don't schedule it in, I feel guilty every time I'm not working, because I know that I should be being productive. I need to be productive. I need to be productive. Right. But no, if I schedule it in, and it's like, I'm, and I'm kind of like on both sides of what Jim was saying. Like, I don't like to have like a really rigid schedule, but what I do know is that on the days when I set a schedule, and I do this, and I know this about myself, if I set a schedule that is really rigid, where it's like, okay, and I wrote a book, like, I'm a published author, and this is how I had to do it. I had to schedule the time to write a certain amount of pages on a regular basis, and just schedule it in. So I'd be like, from this time to this time, I'm writing. And when the timer goes off, I'm done writing. And I'm just done. Like, I'm writing for an hour. Actually, it's been shown that like 50 minutes is really like the longest block of time that you should do one task without taking like a 10-minute break. But sometimes I would do an hour. And then, like, you could even like set a timer. So there's different ways to do it. You can do it, schedule it so that you know that you can finish a task in a certain amount of time, or you can just say, I'm going to work on this thing, whatever it is, this blog post or whatever you're doing, for an hour, and then and then I'm moving on to the next thing. So what I was about to say is, like, when I schedule my day, where it's like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm doing this task. And then like, set a timer. When that time's up, then there's like a break, like a 10-minute break. And I'll do something like jumping jacks or push-ups, or just walk around or walk outside or whatever. And just like really give myself a break, not just like stay on my computer and like go on Facebook. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, really like shift gears, and then come back for the next segment, whatever I have scheduled. I schedule my lunch. I schedule my, like I said, my morning routine is already set in stone. schedule lunch, schedule like a time to check email, a time to return calls. I don't answer the phone if I have another task scheduled for this certain time. And guys, I don't do this every day. I'm just saying that I do it sometimes. And when I do it, when my head hits the pillow that night, I feel so good because I get so much more done when I do it like this. And you don't have to. And you, like I said, I don't do it every day, but it works really well. Like if I know, like if I have a lot of stuff that I have to get done, it works really well for me to do it this way. And it's nice because it just kind of breaks it up so that like, if I'm say building a website, I'm not going to build the whole website in an hour, but I'll schedule an hour to like work on it. And then I can like be done with that for a while and do something else, and it's just I don't know, it just works. It's one way to do it, but my key point here is make sure however you're running your schedule that you schedule time for breaks, lunch, shower, that kind of stuff
That
so that you don't feel like you just have to work all the time. You need to schedule time for the things that feed you.
that's
Jim's
cool.
laughing. Jim
Yeah,
forgot to schedule his shower today.
yeah. I don't schedule my shower because shower. We won't talk about it. It's a little unusual.
He
Um,
schedules when he's going to vacuum his house, though.
I,
That's
well, I'm not a planner, so my wife did most of my scheduling, and weirdly, I got vacuum and do the dishes on my schedule. So, um, but I do most of my reading in the shower, and I do read for 2 or 3 hours sometimes. So, showers I don't schedule.
But, like what Jim was saying earlier, like don't force yourself to do stuff every day that you don't want to do. Like there's a lot of different ways to build a business, whatever any kind of business that you're building, and I don't care what it is. Like I don't care if it's network marketing, I don't care if it's, you know,
Is this tip?
beauty.
Are we? Or is we still?
What's
I didn't.
what's that?
Is this tip 3, or did we? Are we still?
No,
Okay,
I'm just saying
adding tips.
yeah, well,
Sorry, I didn't
yeah,
mean to.
I just feel like when you're thinking about what you're going to do on your
Right.
schedule on a daily basis, like I'm not going to prospect people in Facebook Messenger. I don't put that on my schedule because I don't want to. I have no interest in it at all. Other people, that's what's going to be on their schedule because that's how they like to build their business. So find things that work for you that you enjoy doing. There's a lot of different ways to market. There's a lot of different ways to generate leads, so find the ones that you like. Um, there's a Steve Jobs quote. I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something.
Right.
Like if you
Right.
get out of bed in the morning and you just feel like dread,
I got a blog today. Are you kidding me?
mhm, like you should not feel that way about your business. You don't have to feel that way about your business. There is a way. It is important to be consistent. So like what I always tell people when people join the Home Business Academy and they go into the HBA premium product where all of the marketing training is. And you can learn how to do Facebook ads. You can learn how to do some free Facebook marketing strategies, Facebook Lives. You can learn YouTube. You can learn how to rank your videos on YouTube. You can learn LinkedIn. You can learn blogging. Like there's so much stuff in there. And I always say, like, you don't have to learn it all. You don't have to, you're not going to do the majority of it. Just find something that like lights you up that you want to do every day consistently. Like, what do you see yourself? Maybe go through all the training until you find something that you're like, yes, I can do that every day consistently. And then do that. But like I said, there's scripts in there about what to say to people in Facebook Messenger. I'm not going to read them. I don't want to do that. But they work for the people that use them. And there's a lot of people that do that. And that's a way to get some like faster results, right? Because it's like, you're having like one-on-one conversations with people and it's a lot faster than say YouTube, but I like YouTube, so
Right. And I really like that you talk about that a lot because I think it's really important for people to understand that. I don't like blogging. I set up my blog, and I was going to have you go there, but it's kind of redundant. I set up my blog in June, and I haven't even made a single post on it because it's just not something I'm going to do. So I've just the same thing. I don't put it on my thing. I do have YouTube on my thing, and usually what I end up doing is going and learning something about YouTube instead of doing YouTube because I'm just not quite there yet. But I have done a few, and I've structured my channel pretty well because of it. And so it is something that I work on, but I'm not quite there to working on an actual video yet. So the same thing. I mean, find what portion you'll do, what might get results if it, and even like you said, schedule time for yourself. It doesn't have to get results. If you want to go do something, do that. Christy bakes all the time because she likes baking, whether she's got an order or not. She'll still bake, and then I get the spoils usually. So that's not too terrible either.
Yep. Yep. So, okay. Have you ever heard the term focus? The acronym focus, follow one course until success.
No, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, like being consistent focus is kind of an important piece of being consistent because it's hard to be consistent if you're all over the place. And again, like just to use the example of like all of these different marketing strategies, like some people are like, okay, I need to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Like I need to do all this stuff if I'm going to be successful. And the thing is, like, you're not really going to master. If you try to do all of that, you're not going to become a master at any of it. Right. So it's better to just focus on one thing until you are a master, like until you're getting results with your thing. Once you're getting results and you're generating leads consistently and, it's kind of able to stay in motion now, you can move on, you can learn another strategy, but I do not recommend just trying to learn all of these strategies all at the same time because you're going to be spreading yourself too thin and you're not going to see results. And I mean, you might see some results, but you're not going to see results as much as if you focus. So just remember that focus, follow one course until success. And then you can add another and another and another, but start with one and just be super, super consistent with it.
A little tip on that maybe too is like I post in a bunch of different I call them starter groups, I guess. A lot of these people that have started these free Facebook groups that are designed to eventually make leads out of. So I put them on a favorite place folder and then I just open them all up and then go make all my posts straight through them all at the same time. And then I'm done with that task. It's a pretty mindless task. A lot of the consistency stuff is pretty mindless, right? You just go in and you get through it and you're done with that part of the day. You just make your posts. And so systems, and that might be a point we're going to get to, but systems really help a lot for helping with consistency. So design whatever kind of systems you can, a lot like your scheduling. If you can put some of your posting into a system, put some of your emailing into a system, maybe you do all your emails on one day of the week and that way you're done with that part of consistency. So anyway, just to throw that out there too.
Yep. So let's see, we're on number 3. And I'm just looking to see, I guess, as far as, Jim's talking about systems, and we use a system called the 30-minute workday that has 3 steps that you just do consistently. And once you hone in on these 3 steps, then you can do them in 30 minutes a day and have success. And Jim's living proof of this, which is why I wanted to have him on here tonight to share, because he's not doing anything other than what's taught inside of there, the 3 steps. So I don't know, Jim, we still have 3 other tips for consistency, but I don't know when you want to talk about those three steps and what you've done, if you want to wait till the end or if you want to.
Uh,
Um,
I can talk about it a little bit now, and maybe
okay.
we'll a little more later too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I learned a few years back that there's really only three steps to building any business, right? And the three steps are to build your audience, okay, and then engage your audience, and then sell to your audience. So that's basically the three steps that we use. We build our list however we can. Um, Through the 30-minute workday, I pretty much exclusively do it through paid leads. It's a really simple way to do it. Um, and I know that my leads are coming in. And then all I have to do is do follow up every day and send an email every day, which is basically the whole process. It really only takes, I mean, literally a few minutes. Now, I love helping people, so I do include a lot of helping people into my business. But as far as growing and building my business, literally it's done. I mean, I get on the computer and it's done in a few minutes in the morning because all I'm doing is those three steps: building my audience, engaging my audience with some kind of content like this. I mean, Wednesday, I know I got an email coming from Amy every Wednesday, so I don't have to worry about writing an email because Amy's going to provide me an email and going to provide me content for my list on Wednesdays. So I can scratch that right off my list. I have built in consistency there. So that gives me, step two and step three. I, I engage my audience and I email my audience and sell to my audience, just that simple. And that's all there is to building the business, this business or any business. And I use musicians as kind of somebody that does the same thing. The same system is in place for any business. A musician has to build their audience, right? And then they have to engage their audience. And then they have to sell to their audience and get them to their concerts or their music. So it's no different for any business at all, online, offline, everywhere. It's all the same the whole time. So it's a really simple thing. And I think one of the things that really holds people back in at least easy consistency is this idea that you have to work for 8 hours a day, and you don't. you know um, you only have to work for as long as you can provide value for your audience. That's it. Once you've done that, your daily work is done. So I don't know how much more I can really go into that, Amy, to be honest. I'm not hearing you. I don't know if you muted or if I'm.
No, I muted. Yeah, that's the beauty of the system that we have, and there's a book that comes with the system, and it's 183 pages long, and it's free, and the system's free. And what I love about that book is, like, I've been marketing online for over 15, I guess going on 16 years now. And a lot of the stuff that's taught in that book is stuff that I've learned, but it's taken me this many years to really understand a lot of it. And when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have had this back when I started, because Nick Bramble wrote the book, and it's amazing. And he, even some of the way that he simplified it, like my brain hadn't simplified it in that way yet, even though I knew a lot of this stuff. And it just made so much sense. And I I think that's why so many, like, newbies that haven't been marketing for so long are having success, because they haven't been distracted by all this other stuff. Like, they're given this way to, like, keep it really simple, and then they just do that, and then they just see success, instead of being distracted by all this other stuff, or thinking that you need to learn all this other stuff, or buy all these gurus courses and all this other stuff. Like, I mean, you don't. And he teaches that. And I think that's the beauty of not just the system that we have access to, that has all, like, the tools built into it and the income streams built into it that you can use as residual income enhancers with any business that you might be building, but the actual education that comes to really show people what it looks like to keep it simple, and to just do these three simple things consistently every day, and how to do these three simple things consistently every day. Because like Jim said, like he likes to do paid marketing. Not everybody wants to do paid marketing. We have paid marketing sources built into the system that make it really easy for people that have never done paid marketing. If they have a little bit of a marketing budget, they can throw some money at the paid marketing, and these lead sources that we have access to in there are proven to work. People are getting results with them, right? Like so people don't have to go out and try to find a solo ad provider that might rip them off, like I've had happen a gazillion times over the last 15 years. Like that's all like removed from the equation, and it's just kept really simple. But for those people that don't want to do paid marketing, there's all these other strategies that are taught inside of the Home Business Academy that don't cost anything, and there's a lot of different ways to generate leads. So building your audience every day, that's one of the steps. You can choose how you want to do that. Jim likes to do it with paid marketing. I like to do it with content, but there's a lot of different things that you can do in there. So, but if you know that one of the things that you need to do every day is build your audience, which is taught inside of our system, then you say, okay, well, what am I going to do consistently every day to build my audience? And then you choose one of these strategies like we were talking about before. So that's the beauty of it. It is really just so simple. And there's something for everybody, every personality. Some people like to be on camera. Some people like to write. Some people don't want to do any of that, and they just want to pay for leads. There's something for everybody in there.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it because, like you said, and you doing YouTube, you doing content isn't even really like work. It's what you like to do. So you just do that. And so, like you said, you go to bed at night and you feel good about your results because all you really did was did what you wanted to do instead of trudge through blogging or prospecting all day long, or like I did in Herbalife, right? We did phone calls from 5 a.m. until midnight and and called every time zone around the whole country. And I was like, I don't want to call people like that. Sure, I developed the skill for it, but who wants to do it? And if you do want to do it, some people do. Some people love the phone. They don't mind getting on the phone and chit chatting. So it's a great thing. It's the same thing. You can work it in there. You can prospect. I know Paul prospects all the time. I congratulated Kevin Sousa today because Kevin Sousa prospects all the time, and he's just had some major all-in sales this week, 3 or 4 or 5 of them. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars just getting on and chatting with people on Facebook. So
Yep.
definitely works. And I know he's using the same training in the back office too, as far as scripts and stuff like you mentioned earlier. So, and he does that every day,
Yep.
because that's his choice.
That's his thing. There's something for everybody, like I said. And you don't have to only do one thing either. Like my recommendation was just focus on one thing until you get results with it, and then you know add something if you want to.
Until it automates itself and you just
Mhm.
do it because it's natural for you.
Mhm. Well, and there's a thing called a pipeline, right? So as you're generating leads every day, you're putting people into your pipeline. And what happens is just because you get 10 leads today doesn't mean you're going to make 10 sales today. Not everybody that it becomes a lead is going to purchase at all, but some of the ones that are going to purchase aren't going to purchase yet. They're going to wait until they hear from you consistently over time. And there's this, Nick talks about the 90-day momentum period kind of thing, where it takes a lot of people about 90 days of hearing from you consistently, knowing that you're legit, getting to know you, like you, and trust you, and just hearing about what you have to say about your whatever it is that you're offering them enough until they're ready to make a decision to move forward with it. And so if you're putting people in your pipeline every day, after about 90 days, you've generated a lot of people in your pipeline, and that's going to continue to grow. Like the people that come in that day, 90 days later, are going to start to, you know, take action. And so once you hit that 90-day mark, that's when the kind of the momentum phase starts to hit, and you're just constantly feeding your pipeline and feeding your pipeline. So that's the other piece about being consistent, is know that you're not necessarily, like, the day you decide to be consistent, you might not see results right away. The key is to just not give up. So many people give up like right before the the floodgates are about to open, and they don't even realize it, but you just have to stay in front of people and stay in front of people and stay in front of people and just keep feeding that pipeline, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's solo ads, whether it's YouTube, whatever you want to do, just keep getting in front of your audience and getting them into that pipeline consistently, and then just doing the other two steps and you're golden.
Um, Make sure that what you're doing is actually actionable. There's a lot of things that we tend to do to avoid actually taking action, so make sure that what you're doing is testable, that what you're doing works for building your audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got to get with somebody. I mean, if you're doing something, that people say is working, and you're not getting any results, you're not getting any leads, you're not getting any signups, you're not getting any emails, then you may need to check and make sure that, one, your system's not broke, right? Or that you're not missing part of it. So definitely don't just be consistent to be consistent either. Make sure that you're getting results. Um, and then I think another thing that not a lot of people seem to talk about in consistency is desperation. I've known you a long time, Amy, and I've never noticed you to be desperate for a sale. And I think that's because you just know that what you're doing produces results, right? So, what I see a lot of people do, especially in their first 30 days, is they're so desperate that it's slimy, and it feels like, why would I even want to do business with this person, and then the same kind of thing, that mindset starts to worm into everything. It gets into your emails, it gets into your words, it gets into your videos. But if you're doing consistent action and you're actually building your audience, the next thing you know, around 90 days, you've got so many people to work with. You can tell people no, because you don't want to work with a certain mentality. You don't want um, to do, you don't want to prospect. You just say no, I don't want to do that. So I think that's something that really a lot of people don't talk about in this idea, is once you're doing it long enough, that desperation and the challenge of actually getting people will go away. And I think people also don't realize that people are watching you to see, what are you going to sell me next? Okay, last week you sold me this. It's been 10 days. Oops, you're selling me something else. What are you going to sell me in the next 10 days? So, like you said too, to only work on one thing at a time, work on it long enough that nobody is waiting to see, what am I being shifted to next. So I think that's good stuff to know about consistency.
Yep. All right. We still have three more tips, and we're already at the top of the hour, so we'll go quick.
Oh, we got to go.
I know. Um, the third tip that I have is to put reminders, like, around your house and your workspace, in your belongings, like, whether it's like sticky notes on your bathroom mirror, on your computer, on the dashboard of your car, um, to remind you of your goal. Um, you can put alerts on your phone to remind you of, like, your action steps at certain times that you're supposed to be doing something. I mean, this again is going to be different for everybody, but um, when it's like a new goal or a habit, sometimes it's helpful to just remind yourself what you're up to. Um, and another thing that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, which is another step, is about a rewarding yourself when you do hit your goals. So maybe that's what you have on your sticky notes, or you're just taking the time to remember why your why. Well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you're doing? and what's your goal and what's your reward when you hit your goal, and whatever it is that is going to help you to stay in the game and to not quit and to not give up and to stay excited and motivated. um, do you have anything like that that you do, Jim?
I think one of the things, I don't know if it exactly fits, but connect people like you have with the Power Hour tonight. Connect people that um, not that hold you accountable, right? But people that if you let down, or even feel like you let down, if you don't show up on a Wednesday night, it's going to make you feel like, gosh, I got a lot of people that needed me to be there that night. Well, it'll push you to do those things you want to do, even though maybe you don't want to do it today. I know Thursdays in the mid afternoon Thursday when I'm going to do this call on Thursday night, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this call tonight. But then as I get closer, then I'm like, well, how many people have sent out an email? So I got to get back into
Mm-hmm.
this. So tell people or make bets with people too works really well to hold you accountable for doing something like that maybe you don't quite want to do, but know you should. And not that you hate also. Don't do something.
Well, this is actually the next point too. Point number 4, which is make promises only if you can keep them. But consistency often involves making commitments and keeping them. And so, just like Jim's talking about, like when I committed to do this call on Wednesday nights and made it so that other people can promote this page with their affiliate link, like it's really a way to hold myself accountable, because I know that, like he said, like I'm going to keep that promise. Now, don't do something like that if you can't keep that promise. If you're going to show up sometimes, that's the quickest way to like completely destroy any trust anybody has in you. And a lot of the people that are here that come on Wednesday nights, like including Jim, are people that aren't even like, I have no financial gain by any of these people being here. They're all like, a lot of us are in the Home Business Academy together, but we're all affiliates, right? We're all cross line affiliates or whatever. But that doesn't matter to me. Like, these are people that I've made a commitment to, right? So, like, anyway, don't make promises that you can't keep, but do make promises and commitments that will help you stay consistent if they are something that will keep you in the game. Because, like Jim said, I have had many times, not many, a couple of times since I started doing these power hours where I remember one night in particular, and I came on and my eyes were swollen because I'd been crying all day. And I came on here and I said, like, it was really hard for me to show up here tonight, but I was so happy to be there. Once I was there, I was like, now I'm here and I can focus on something other than all the stuff that I've been dealing with today. So it actually feels good to show up, once you're there. But it kept me, like, had I not made the commitment, I would have blown it off. If it was just like, if I was just going to be sitting down to shoot a YouTube video, I wouldn't sit down to shoot a YouTube video after I've been crying all day and had swollen eyes. I wouldn't do it. But I made this commitment, so I showed up. So it keeps me in the game and it keeps me consistent. And so I showed up, I did the live training, I repurposed my video, posted it on my YouTube channel, and I kept my word to myself and everybody else. So
I think that's a cool thing that's inside of the premium training is when you're getting your people started that they need a friend, like me and you, and then they need friends like all of this community, the whole everything. And that's part of being accountable, and I've gotten where I have Louie as my friend that we do Thursday night with every time. And so I look forward now to going on and chatting with Louie on Thursday nights like this. So,
mhm.
um, so I think that's cool. We'll
Even
go
if
on.
you're not, accountable to somebody else, like, you can make a promise to yourself, but make sure it's something that you can keep. Like, if you say you're going to shoot 5 videos a week, make sure that you actually have time. Like, say you're working a full-time job, make sure it's realistic that you actually have time to shoot 5 videos a week, to upload them, to edit them, to do the keyword research, to do the search engine optimization on it. Like, you know what I mean? To not just like throw 5 crappy videos out that have no like intention behind them. You know what I mean? So it's better to do it right and do less videos So set the goal, make the commitment to yourself, but make sure it's something that's realistic. Because again, like if you're working a full-time job and you're trying to shoot and edit and upload and SEO 5 videos a week, you're going to burn out and you're not going to see your family and you're not going to have time to do anything else at all. So I mean, shooting a video doesn't take that long, but the rest of the stuff in addition to it can. So make sure and this isn't just about videos, but you know what I mean? I'm just using that as an example. Whatever you're committing to, it doesn't necessarily have to be to the public or to a partner. It can be, and that's going to hold your feet to the fire even more, I think. But
Right.
even if you're committing to yourself, make sure it's something that you can actually keep, go ahead.
And something like go to the gym and you do hate it, maybe you need something more behind it. Like I had $1,000 bet with my gym partner in Iraq, that we would go to the gym 6 days a week, and if one of us missed, we had to pay the other $1,000. So,
Mhm. I
you
did the
know,
same thing when I was in network marketing. I told my upline I have to, and I used to call. I mean, I was making cold calls. I was calling, like, I had to make a certain amount of calls a day. And I had to book a certain amount of appointments a day based on the calls I was making. And so I said, if I don't book 2 appointments a day, I have to pay you $50. Like I made it up, not him, but he was the person that I wanted to hold me accountable. So if I was like getting towards the end of the day and I hadn't set those appointments, I would literally start calling numbers off of like trucks on the highway that had like the phone numbers on the sides and stuff and like prospecting and just doing everything. And I never paid him $50 because I was so motivated by that. We called it a risk, like risks and rewards. Like you get a reward when you reach your goal, like the goal that I was trying to hit by doing that. And then the risk is I also had a thing like if I didn't hit my goal by a certain date, I had to take cold showers every day until I did hit my goal. I hit my goal by the date.
right? Whatever,
So,
right? Do
yeah.
whatever it.
Yep. Yeah, there's different things that you can do like that. And that's tip number 5, by the way, is to reward yourself um when you get something done or when you hit a short-term goal. Like don't wait until you like hit this pie in the sky huge milestone to reward yourself. You can like I'm going to reward myself for hitting this short-term goal that I set 3 months ago. I'm going to reward myself and you can do it in whatever way you want. You don't have to spend money to reward yourself. You could host a dinner at your house. You could do a happy dance. I always do a happy dance when I hit any kind of a goal. Like I turn on some really good music and dance, like fully like dance and have a good time around my house and stuff like a maniac. It just feels good. It's like I'm showing the universe that I'm celebrating, right? So that's one way that you can reward yourself. But I mean, you can host a dinner, you can take an afternoon by yourself, you can celebrate with your family, where you just have a nice dinner and toast with your sparkling cider, or, just um, acknowledge yourself. And when you do that, what happens is you show the universe that you're celebrating your milestones. And what happens when you do that is then, and I'm kind of woo woo, so this is how I talk, but the universe will give you more to celebrate. When you celebrate the small stuff, you'll find that you know, the universe will be like, oh, she appreciates. I mean, every time I get a commission notification, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what I mean? Like I'm grateful for all of it, so make sure that you reward yourself in whatever way um, that speaks to you for your goals. And it could be, you treat yourself like I'm going to treat myself to a massage and an acai bowl at my favorite acai bowl place. It's like a decadent treat to me. That's what I'm, just to, and it's not like I never go there anyway, but like this time it's because I earned it, right? So it feels different. It's just a different way to nurture yourself and reward yourself. Do you have any thing to say about rewards, Jim?
Well, when we get a commission notification, my computer has an audio that plays the Mickey Mouse song of hot dog, hot diggity dog. And so we get up and we dance with the dog through the
Oh,
whole
that's awesome.
every time it goes off. So we're dancing around and the dog's jumping up and down with us and everything.
Oh,
When Christy gets a sale notification, it plays like a party um, thing for a long time, like so it's really exciting too, you know. So that's pretty cool. Um, I was gonna say something else until you asked me, and then it slipped my mind. I'll see if I can think of it and come back to it. But yeah, oh, what I was gonna say is, yeah, that helps your brain feel good about it too. You know, it takes away some of that desperation. It lets you know that, hey, this is working. You know, if you never get up and be excited about it, then what's the point? You know, um, so I think that's really important. And to go back to the exercise thing a little bit, you know, when I was in Iraq and lost a bunch of weight, um, we would go and have a cheat night every Friday night. We would go down to the local pizzeria place and get a pizza and all kinds of stuff. And some of the guys would stop by because we were losing weight like crazy. And some of the guys would stop by and like, what? How do you guys eat like this? And you're losing. I lost 105 pounds in 8 months. So I mean, um, they're like, that's insane. And I was like, yeah, but you know. And then we wake up the next morning and it was like we had a drunken party the night before because we had so much food. But we always looked forward to it, and it spurred us. It shifted that mindset too. So it's another way to keep yourself accountable and keep yourself going. So just another side of it.
absolutely. Yep. So we've gone through our five. I have one bonus tip that I have to say, and Jim touched on this earlier, but boundaries are really, really important. We all want to hit our goals, and being consistent is important, but it's really important to make sure that have boundaries around your time, around, how you spend your time. Expectations for your family are also important. So like if you're going to be consistent and you know that from this time to this time every day, you're going to be like shooting a YouTube video, your family needs to know, so they're not like walking in to the room while you're trying to shoot a video and distracting you from that, or um, whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you are going to be in your office, maybe you have a home office, and right now a lot of people are working from home, so make sure your family knows what your schedule is too, and so that they have the right expectations, so that they know. Like my kids know. I didn't used to be able to get on our we in the Home Business Academy we have a Monday night mastermind, which is awesome, and it's a marketing mastermind, and we jump on every Monday night and mastermind about marketing strategies that are working right now for people. And I didn't used to be able to get on live because my daughter had soccer, I had basketball on Monday nights, soccer on Tuesday nights. But since quarantine started, that's not happening anymore. So we're home, but they know that on Monday nights, I mean, Jim knows, you'll see my kids like in the background, like making food or whatever, but they know like from 8 to 9 on Monday nights, I'm sitting right here. And if my daughter's like out with her friends, I say, I text her and say, don't forget, I'm getting on my call. So if she comes home with a bunch of people, that they don't come in all loud or whatever, so my family knows. So whatever it is, and that's another example of consistency, right? We have these masterminds every week um, that are available, and that's on my schedule, because it feeds my soul. It feeds my brain. It gives me, it's inspiring, and I learn things that help me in my business, right? So it's a priority in my business, right? So it's something I do consistently now that I can. I mean, once sports start again, I don't know. I don't have any control over the sports schedule, but you know, um, I've done the same thing in other things that I've done where there's been like some type of a weekly call or something like that. And it's a priority, and it's something that I do consistently. Inside of the Home Business Academy, there's also a daily call for people that want a daily mindset call. So that's something else that, you can do consistently. I don't do it because it's at the time I listen to the recordings, but it's during my morning routine. So I don't get on those usually. But a lot of people do every single day and have for years. This call's been going on for 11 years. Some of these people on this call have been on there consistently Monday through Friday for 11 freaking years. Like, talk about consistency. And you can tell who they are because they're so upbeat and empowered. And I mean, it pays off. Consistency pays off.
That call, I really wasn't getting into very much, but I know how important it is. By like you're saying, you can hear it in the voice of the people that do it, how important it is to them. So I started doing a daily thank you post in the Tagger group so that I would find myself more committed to it. So that the mornings that I wake up and is like, oh, I don't want to do this morning. Well, now I've made commitments to that. So not that I need to, not that if I missed a day, anybody would be in detrimony or anything, but it gives me a connection to be able to just keep a consistency of it. And I have now for, I guess it's been 4 or 5 weeks, I've been on it every single day because of that. So just a small little thing that I back into it to help with consistency. So another system, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got trained in transcendental meditation in December, and I've been doing all different types of meditation since I was a kid, really, because my parents were into that. But I've tried different things and I've done different types of retreats and taken on different ones. But I've always been curious about TM. It's called Transcendental Meditation. And I got trained December 12th, and I've not missed a day since then. And you do it twice a day, and I do, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. But it takes something to be consistent with a practice like that. And they teach you how to do it if you're traveling, if you're sharing a hotel room with somebody, like, this is what you do, and so there's no excuses. If you really want to get the results, you just do it. And it has made the hugest difference in my life. I mean, massive. And we're talking about just twice a day of meditation.
Right.
And it pays off in all areas of my life, including my business. So when we're talking about being consistent, it's not just the business stuff. It's the stuff that, like we talked about before, the stuff that feeds your soul, the stuff that empowers you, the personal development, the fitness, all of it. It the only way to really benefit from any of it is to be consistent with it.
Right. I think the only thing we really haven't covered that I can think of is, do you have any more tips? That was your bonus tip,
That
right?
was my bonus.
Is forgive yourself. If you miss a day, if you have to miss a day, forgive yourself. You can always get back to it. Don't forgive yourself to the point you let 2 or 3 days slide by, because it doesn't take long and consistency can be broke pretty easily. So if you miss a day, forgive yourself and get back to it. And don't let yourself get beat up to the point where you miss 2 or 3 days and end up breaking that habit that was so beneficial for you. So I think that's important for people to know that, consistency is great and it's great to stay on it, but it can be temporarily offset and not hurt you too badly as long as you come back around to it.
Yep. I'm just going to read through the comments, see if anybody has questions. Persistence and consistency have always been the difference between success and failure for me and all my mentors over 30 years. Yeah, it is the key. And it's so easy to not be consistent. That's the thing. If everybody was consistent, everybody would basically be successful with whatever it is they're trying to be successful with, whether it's weight loss or business or whatever.
But what's easy not to do, right?
Yep, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. It's actually not that easy to do. Like, the tasks themselves might be easy to do. The being consistent piece is what's not necessarily easy. It's easy to not be consistent.
Yeah.
Easy to find excuses to blow it off.
Yep. Especially things you don't want to do. Things you want to do are a little easier. Things you don't want to do, some of them, remove them. Get rid of them. One of the things you don't want to do, except for the gym. I need to get back to the gym myself sometime, one day.
Someday. Yep. And that, well, there you go. That's another like little tip too is, you know, if not now, when, you know what I mean? Like life is short.
Yep.
So, and we know we're never guaranteed another day. So don't put off your dreams, like we talked about tonight. Chunk down, if your dreams feel like far-fetched, then chunk it down. What can you do? What's a goal that you can set to hit in the next 3 months? What's realistic? And then set that goal. What I do with accountability, I'm not currently working with an accountability partner, but I was, and I have a lot over the years. And what I always do is we set a 3-month goal, a 6-month goal, and then we call it a BHG, a big hairy goal for
Mm.
12 months. So you start with your BHG, like where do you want to be a year from now? And then chunk it down. Okay, so if you want to be there in a year from now, where do you want to be 6 months? What is realistically where you're going to be 6 months from now, based on where you're planning on being a year from now? And then break it in half again down to where do you want to be 3 months from now? It doesn't even have to be exactly half, because again, there's momentum that happens over time. But chunk it down to 3 months. Okay, now you have a 3-month goal. You can even make it smaller. You can set goals for every single week or every single month, whatever works for you. But just do it in a way that feels realistic and easy to wrap your head around, so that you'll actually do it
And
and wait.
and since we're talking about consistency, get it down to every single day. You know, if you can get it down to every single day, an action step to get to where you want to be in a year, you will get there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you will get
Yep.
there. You know,
Yep.
so
Yeah, like I am seriously, and I know you've said this on the mastermind too, how like you're like, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being consistent. Like I'm blown away by like when I got my email from YouTube yesterday with they send a thing every month with like your progress or your monthly report or whatever. And I was like, how I can't even believe how like those numbers go up every month, like the amount of likes and the amount of comments, like there every month there's more, right? Because it's growing exponentially. And I'm not doing more every month. I'm doing the same thing, but the
right.
numbers are getting bigger because of the momentum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm not really doing that much.
But you're getting better. You're getting better at all the skills. You're getting better at, every bit of it that you do because you do it so consistently. And, you know, even that, if you wait a week to go to edit a video every week, you got to basically learn how to re-edit a video every week. But when you're doing it every day, it just becomes second nature, the same thing, So all of those things add up over time to that. So it really is crazy. And a compound effect, that's a lot of what they talk about
Yep.
the things that you get, the the additional bits you get added on because you're doing a daily cycle, of whatever it is in life. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all compounding.
Yep. All right. Well, there are a lot of comments. I'm not seeing any questions. So I'm gonna look one more time and just make sure I'm not missing anything. But the call tonight was awesome. Good, Dave. I'm glad it helped. And then yep, Jeff's talking about how Kevin Sousa is killing it through Messenger. Yep. Again, like that's the thing. Like there's something for every personality. Just find something that you feel good about doing every day and do that. Um, the two of you are at each end of the time management spectrum. Yep. Again, find something that works for your personality. I mean, I remember trying to be a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Like I'm I am most productive in the morning, but I don't get up at 5 a.m. So I was trying to get up at 5 a.m. I was working on this project and I had to get it done. And I was trying to figure out, I had a deadline and I was trying to figure out how to, I was writing a course and, but it was for another company and I had a deadline. And so it was content that I was creating, but I was trying to figure out like where I was going to find the time in the day to actually get this thing done. I'm like, well, I just need to get up earlier so that I can have this extra time before my kids wake up. So I was getting up at like 4:30 in the morning to write. And I was trying to convince myself that like saying I'm not a morning person is a limiting belief. So I can do this. And I would get up at 4:30 and I'm like, my brain does not function at 4:30 in the morning. It's dark outside. Like it's some people love that time of the day and that's their most productive time. It doesn't work for me. It just does not work for me. I can't go to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm lucky if I get to bed before midnight. So like 4:30 in the
Right.
morning just doesn't work for me, but for some people it does. So again, like find your groove, like what works for you. Like it doesn't make sense as a content creator to be trying to force yourself to create content at a time of the day when your brain isn't functioning. Some people in the afternoon, they have that afternoon like lag, lull, whatever, after they eat lunch and they're all blah. Like don't try to do it then either. That's not a good idea, but figure out when you're most, you know, upbeat and schedule it, the tasks that require you to be on your A game at that time, and that time is different for everybody. So, um, people have different opinions about this, but I listened to a podcast. I don't even remember who it was. It was a while back when I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning, saying that there actually is such a thing as a morning person and a night person. Like it, some people don't believe that. They believe it is some type of a limiting belief or whatever, but I believe it. I just think some people are like more productive in the middle of the night. I'm not either. I'm not middle of the night either. I'm just like normal hours, but some people like to get up at the butt crack of dawn. I don't get it, but you know,
Whether
whatever you are, work your
yeah,
schedule around that.
for me that doesn't matter. I was in the military long enough that I'm broke. Whatever it is, it is.
Hmm.
So,
Yep. Yep.
well,
Yep.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Anybody here? There is a button down below that you can join whoever's team brought you here. There's a lot of great trainers. Our community is so awesome. There's a lot of us like me and Amy that are out here that are willing to train and love doing a lot of the things and don't love doing a lot of the things. But you can get connected with us. And this is where me and Amy met, is just doing this kind of stuff and doing the Monday Night Mastermind. And um, I knew of Amy years ago, but never really talked to her until this. So, until the Monday Night Mastermind. So it's great. I love this community. I love the tool. I love all of the system that we have and all the people, the founders. Nick, Paul, and Mike, amazing people. So
Yep.
get started. Get started.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Click the button below. You can learn more. It's only $25 and you'll learn more on the next page when you click the button.